But now Americans living abroad, American expats in different countries are taking to TikTok to air all of the ways that where they live is incredibly different, and all the ways that the almost PTSD.
Like their life was so goddamn bougie that they could up and move around the world. And these are the people who are gonna share their PTSD stories, right? Oh, I'm sure this is gonna be real fucking good.
Or sort of remnants of what it was like to live in the United States. They're carrying that with them into their new homelands.
Title of this video: expats share their American trauma after living abroad.
So let's first start with the video that started this trend back in 2021. Take a look.
If you're an American currently living abroad, what is one time that made you realize that America really messed you up? I'll go first.
I live in Warsaw, Poland now, but I always stay in touch with what's happening in the US. And I happened to hear about that Las Vegas shooting when someone opened fire on a bunch of concert goers. And it was very tragic news. But that day, I also went to the movies. So I was already in a kind of weird mental state. And when I left the movies, I got on the tram again in Warsaw, and I saw this guy kind of being sketchy and acting weird in the last seat. And I kept eyeing him the whole time. And he had his jacket open, and he was holding something inside. He was hiding it. And I thought, my first American thought was, it's a gun or a knife or some kind of weapon, and I need to move away as soon as possible. So I kept looking at him the whole ride. And then he takes it out, and it was a beer can. He was sipping it and hiding it during the tram ride.
Like, I mean, that's not paranoia on your part, right? Like, this ain't trauma or PTSD from being from America. Like, you're not even living in America when you hear about what happened in Las Vegas. You say he was sketchy. So, I mean, obviously, like, dude was giving off funky vibes. Yeah, I wouldn't say that this is any sort of PTSD. That's just a self-perceived paranoia that you've placed upon yourself. Starting out 0 for 1. 0 for 1. Swing and a miss.
That's what happens in Poland. Not guns, not knives. And I started crying and laughing at the same time, because that's when I realized, wow, that's messed up.
It's messed up that you were judging the dude. That's what's messed up. Like, you had no reason to think this dude was gonna pull a gun out. Get a little bit of clarity on how, like, yo, you're looking at the world here. Like, what the that ain't what America did for nothing. Like, you're not even in America when the shit happened.
Right, that's messed up. She immediately feared for her life.
Why would this woman have been scared for her life? Like, that's fucking crackhead shit. Like, that's entirely on you. That ain't got nothing to do with Vegas or that shooting. That's all you, woman.
Just guy sipping on a beer. I didn't think that's necessarily what he was gonna reveal out of his jacket. Have you been on public transportation in the United States? Sometimes it's something worse, a lot worse than beer. But a similar experience to an American living in Australia in terms of their fear of gun violence. Take a look.
One of my first couple of weeks here, it was May of 2023, and I don't know why exactly, but some local event thing was shooting off fireworks. You know, in the distance I hear, if you're an American, you sit up straight, you start looking around, and you wait to hear more.
You're full of fucking shit, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You heard fucking fireworks going off in the background. All of a sudden, you're fucking in some war zone. Were you in the army? Were you Marine? You see action in Iraq and Afghanistan? I could imagine maybe that would trigger something. But if you're fucking telling me just because you're from America and you hear fireworks, you immediately think there's some sort of fucking gang battle going off in the backyard of fucking Australia. Like, holy shit, dude. 0 for 2. Swing and a miss.
Do you hear more fireworks? Or do you hear screams?
Is this motherfucker about to cry? Get a hold of yourself. You're a grown-ass fucking man. Talk about a time you heard some fireworks in Australia. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get a hold of yourself. Get some fucking Kleenex or something. Do a retake of this.
Because that sound is either gunfire or fireworks.
You knew it was fireworks. But yet you're retelling this story as if you've got this connection to this trauma. Just because you're from America don't mean, yo, that you've been involved in all these shootings. Like, I'm from America. I've spent 42 years of my life in America. And then to think that, like, we're all walking around in fear of just a gunfight hopping off. Bro, wipe your fucking eyes and do something with your goddamn life.
And I realized that conditioning in me, it still happens.
Take your fucking meds, get off TikTok. ASAP. Doctor's fucking orders.
So there he is, an expat in Australia, getting pretty emotional about the fact that he was, thinking that this could be gunshots.
That dude wasn't thinking it was fucking gunshots. Get the fuck out of here, you and him.
I mean, I'm also thinking of John veterans, American vets who've been to war.
Okay, so that's a good point. That's a very good point, a solid point. Good on you for saying that, because that I can understand. That makes fucking sense. But it ain't because he's from America. God forbid he was in the army and saw combat and all that shit. Entirely understandable, and my heart would break for anybody that has to deal with that type of PTSD. But this man ain't got fucking PTSD from just being a fucking American and then hearing fireworks in Australia. Cut the fucking shit.
Who are also, sort of traumatized, of course, by that and have PTSD. And so when they hear fireworks, are also thinking, what is this? Are these bombs? Are these guns? Is it gunshots, and et cetera? So it's not just gun violence, though. But thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, it's easy to forget. We report on a lot of these mass shootings at schools, at malls, and all that stuff, at bars, in Vegas.
Y'all think this shit's happening every day? Like in a sense of a school shooting, mall shooting or something. I'm gonna talk about gang shit. You take out most of gang shootings. Our fucking homicide by gun rate is one of the lowest in the world. You're gonna either do it to yourself or you're gonna be in a city.
At concerts, churches, everywhere.
There was a church. I could think of maybe 2 concerts. I could think of concerts in France where bombs fucking went off and goddamn 50 people got killed. However many people got killed. Too many goddamn people got killed at a concert with a bomb. Yo, motherfuckers want to do fucked up shit, bro. They gonna figure it out either way. With a gun, without a gun, they gonna see it through.
And eventually the media moves on, but it leaves an entire community, the direct people who are affected by it, those who are worried that they're going to get a call that a loved one is in danger, and those things are scattered across the country, an ever-growing list of those sorts of experiences. And I love that the guy made the video, and it's so raw. I can only imagine how he would be attacked by conservatives for daring to care about needless violence.
You think that's what that guy was doing in that TikTok video? No, that was him fucking virtue signaling about some weird paranoia he's got about hearing fucking fireworks. That's what that is. Most everybody does care about needless gun violence and how it shouldn't be happening and how we might want to figure out ways to combat it. But this dude living in Australia, hearing fucking fireworks, almost ready to cry, remembering hearing the fireworks. The dude's fucking Looney Tune. Dude need to take his fucking meds. What the fuck he needs to do.
Like the sort of conservatives who believe that they're the ones who really get what's going on. Everyone else is sheep, but they have been lulled into not caring about constant massacres. Like,
bro, I don't care. I don't care because people get massacred. Because I think this guy crying over fireworks. We're not talking about massacres with this dude. This dude's talking about fireworks. Like, and God forbid, he can remember a couple times that massacres happened in the country. That somehow he's connecting the two. Man, this dude's loony.
They have accepted that these massacres happened. They don't believe that anything should be done about it. And they think that that is the sane response.
What do you think should be done about it, John? Ban the guns? Ban the guns, that solves it. No more guns, so you can't die by gun no more. Guess you just die with whatever other method they fucking want to kill you dumbass with. Most of the law-abiding gun owners that are in the country, which is almost all of them, ain't the ones doing it. The motherfuckers with the mental issues and with a bone to pick about something, those are the motherfuckers doing shit. And they probably broke 30 fucking laws on the way to go do what the fuck they were gonna do. That's against the law too.
To this bloodshed.
Yeah, and the fact that their countries have been issuing travel warnings to the United States because of the amount of gun violence that we have. We're not making, I mean, this is insane. We're not making this up. It's not in our heads. Like,
what aren't you making up? Like, what part about the people making travel advisories to America? Okay, you're not making it up. Okay, nobody's saying you are. So what is the point that you're saying that you're not making up? The people that are nervous to come to America? If they're nervous to come to America, I'd probably recommend changing the channel. Stop listening to people like you. Because that's fucking fear-mongering. That's fear-monger 101. Be afraid to come to America. You probably get shot. No, you probably fucking won't get shot. Don't listen to these people. These people are fucking loony.
And part of, look, I actually think that gun violence is one of a very good reason to leave this country. A very good reason. As, the parent of a little baby who's gonna grow up and go to school. Like, No.
Because there's only a couple specific places in this country where you actually have a real chance of ever coming in contact with somebody with a gun that's going to shoot you. And God forbid those outliers where it's just somewhere where it just happened to be that moment. And that motherfucker got it up in him, go do what the fuck he's going to do. I'd rather there be good dudes there with a gun ready to blow his fucking head off versus a bunch of people in the shopping center with nothing. All y'all calling 911 at the same time while dudes just going bananas on you. Because that ain't no help.
I don't want that. And you could say, oh, you live in a blue state. You can say there's stronger gun laws. That's not necessarily true. That's not going to save you.
It's going to come down to the culture in which you're surrounded by. It's the same argument about the Chicago shit. Chicago shit got some of the strictest laws in the country, but the states around it have lax laws. Well, they say, well, okay, well, that's where they getting them. Okay, but the places with the lax laws don't have the murder rate that Chicago has. You got a far less chance getting murdered in Indiana or outside of Chicago than you do in Chicago, where the laws are that much tighter. And guns are more available in the other places that you're not getting killed in. Like, do that math. It don't fucking add up. It's 2 and 2 make 38 with your math. Was it New Hampshire or Vermont? One of the two. I'm not quite sure. I want to say it might be New Hampshire. But there's big gun owners in New Hampshire. Big fucking guns in New Hampshire. And ain't nobody dying in New Hampshire. Everybody's had a fucking gun last 150 fucking years. And all these big number of killings wasn't happening until, 20, 30, 50 fucking years ago? Especially in certain cities. It's where high density population, poverty, and culture. That's what it comes down to. You make any fucking law you want. But if you got the culture of where life is cheap, that's how your life's gonna get treated. It's cheap.
People like we have open borders. I'd like a wall between states that have, lax gun laws and my state.
You make any fucking law you want. It's the culture. Do you not get it yet? I mean, I'm sure half of y'all don't. I'm sure half y'all motherfuckers just don't get it.
But that's not going to happen. So it goes though beyond just gun violence. This is a great account from someone who's living in the UK.
A great account, double great. 2 greats.
And talking about ambulances and her hesitancy to call an ambulance. Take a look.
So I moved to the UK about 10 years ago for university, and literally my very first night there.
Literally.
I was fresh off the plane. It was Freshers Night, which is like the whole first week of university in the UK. You like go out drinking at like different bars or whatever. And we went out drinking, and this one girl that I was with got so drunk that on the way back home to our student accommodation, she was like, oh, I need to sit down. And she sat down and she just like passed out.
So you fly into London for school. So the night you get there, you're going out drinking. You end up with some people who got so drunk that they've passed out on the side of the street from drinking so much. Okay, so this is I'm just recapping the person we're hearing here. That's all.
And we could not wake her up. Like the girl was just like dead to the world, it seemed like. And immediately the people I was with was like, we need to call an ambulance. And being an American, I was like, we cannot call an ambulance. Like I had just met this girl. I had no idea if she could afford an ambulance.
She's drinking so much that she's comatose on the curb. And your thought is, don't call the ambulance. You don't know her. Recapping what I'm hearing. That's literally.
They called an ambulance. The ambulance came. They like checked her out like she was, alive or whatever. And they took her to the hospital. And like they brought me home. They sat me down and they were like, what are you freaking out about?
Yeah, what are you freaking out about? Like if somebody needs help, call a fucking ambulance. Nothing else should matter in that moment. If you thought this woman was in need of help, call for help.
And I explained what I was so worried about. And they were like, ambulances are free. Hospitals are free.
Free.
What is wrong with you? And like, I hadn't realized until that point that healthcare in the UK was completely free.
Nothing is completely free. All those lights that are on in the hospital gotta be paid for. All those doctors and nurses and gurneys and sheets and gowns and scalpels, none of that came from the free hospital supply store. They all had to be paid for. Nothing is fucking free at a hospital. Nothing. The great example. The bills for everything that incurred in that entire set of events, somebody paid for it. Probably not you. Somebody fucking paid for it.
That's just devastating to me.
It's devastating that this woman fucking didn't think to call 911. Like I get your argument. So like I get that. Like I'm not missing your point here. but devastating? Like, motherfuckers have to pay for this shit. Nothing's free. There is no free. That's a gaslight if I've ever fucking heard it. Fucking air is free. Healthcare ain't free. Nowhere in the fucking planet is healthcare free.
I mean, I can't say that I have worried about calling 911 or an ambulance on somebody. I mean, I think I have that I would say I'd have that privilege where I would call.
You call 911 if you see somebody hurt. It doesn't matter. I'm not thinking about insurance. If somebody is in life or death situations, call 911. Deal with that shit later. Like, let's focus on trying to get this person right versus like we're already worried about the fucking economic sphere of calling 911. Sure, financially, it could fucking be a lot depending on a lot of situations. Are you not going to do it anyway? Or is the whole argument here is we should just have free healthcare in America? People got to be paid to do these jobs. People don't do these jobs for free. Doctors ain't in there for no paycheck. Not in a fucking society. Not in a world where people got to live and make livings on stuff. Like, y'all got this fucking shit in your head where like everybody can live good if we just take all the stuff from the people with the money, right? Yeah, that's second grade logic if I've ever fucking heard it. That's some Hassan fucking bullshit.
An ambulance, I would call like the fire department or whomever, a hospital. But the fact that was her immediate reaction. I mean, maybe, John, my first reaction would be, let's get an Uber.
I don't have a problem in my mind thinking this woman didn't think a second about calling 911. I bet you that was shit she thought of later. Because any woman in this woman's position, she coming from wealth. She's coming from a life of privilege. A life of privilege most of Americans won't ever live. If you're fucking flying to London for college, she ain't second guess calling 911 a day in her life. She's just a socialist, seeing this trend on TikTok and figure, oh man, I'm gonna talk about this time I got real drunk with this girl that I just got in London with and went partying with.
Yeah, it's weird. I've had that conversation. Like, I've been a part of that conversation back at college, like a million years ago. It's probably even more expensive now than it was then.
I don't know where you're from. I'm out here in Cali. If you got no job and no prospects, no drive, if you have nothing and don't want to do nothing, you'll get it all for free. That's who gets it for free in California. The motherfuckers that live in a tent out by the railroad tracks. Them motherfuckers call 911, blow that shit up every little cough they fucking got. And then we wonder why our shit's expensive. Because any motherfucker that's working a job, those are the people that's gonna pay for it. The productive members of society will be the motherfuckers that pay for the people who want it for free. Because there ain't no free. There's no free. Free ain't a fucking thing.
But yeah, that's a very real concern, and not just the general healthcare thing, but specifically the ambulance. I know everybody thought like it was actually kind of a deterrent sometimes to going harder because you knew that would financially break you.
I don't want to pay for any of these fucking medical bills if I get too fucking wasted. So I'm gonna pull back a little bit. I'm gonna pump them brakes just a little bit. Just make sure I don't end up fucking dead and in need of an ambulance. That's smart, John. It's fucking smart. Money or no money, what it costs, what it don't cost, free or not free. That's common fucking sense, John. That's what adults, responsible fucking reasonable people do.
If you needed to call that, and that's,
oh my God.
It's such a weird way to live. And again, it's another thing that we have just been trained to accept as normal, that other advanced countries can do better.
The US is its own category in a million fucking ways. We've got over 350 million people in the country. 350 million people, 50 different states, 50 cities with multi-millions of people, high dense populations right on top of each other with hundreds of different cultures. Everybody living their own worlds and their own lives, their own way. And somehow we all come together and fucking make it work, at least for the most part. Up until a good 20, 30 years ago, we really were a melting pot of a country. We've now kind of dug into every little bit of team and nook and cranny and, oh, well, this is me, I don't like you. The American flag don't represent me. This pride flag does, or this other flag does. I'm not American because the history was blah, 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 blah. USA ain't like those other places. The USA ain't like Sweden. The USA ain't like Poland. USA ain't like Australia. That's why we're the fucking USA. Fuck them places, yo. I bet either of you could fucking up and move there tomorrow. Just like all these 3 other bougie ass motherfuckers that other videos you shown. You could up and move there tomorrow if you wanted to. But you don't. But you haven't. And you won't.
But so many of us have no expectation that our country should ever be as good as them.
Our country is better than theirs. In 1,000 fucking ways. It's sad you can't fucking see it. With the freedoms that you're afforded. All the shit you're fucking spewing right now. Most of those places have had one set of fucking cultures going back centuries on centuries of a bunch of people that look the fucking same, talk the fucking same, do the fucking same, want the fucking same. America ain't like that. It might have been much more like that in the history. Yo, man, we've got hundreds of different cultures, hundreds of different options and freedoms and things you could fucking ever want to do. There's rules and laws and expensive shit in all them places too. You won't go there and fucking work and give up 60% of your paycheck for yo next door that don't do shit? Just a lazy deadbeat painting motherfucker don't even sell his goddamn paints. Motherfucker sitting there just mooching off of everybody else. Yeah, fuck you, dude. Get a fucking job.
Yeah, there's 2 more, but this one I really, really like.
Ooh, really, really like. Another double. Really, really like.
So here is someone talking about the criminal justice system and just like a fun little thought exercise that I think a lot of Americans, we all engage in. Take a look.
I'm an American. I've been living in Europe for about 10 years. I first moved here when I was 23. I moved to Paris without knowing a soul.
How many motherfuckers you know up and moved to Paris at 23? I'm telling you, it takes a specific type of motherfucker to move to goddamn Paris when they're 23 goddamn years old.
I had this French boyfriend. I remember there was one time, I think I was with his family, and I said something like, oh, if I could choose any meal for my last meal when if I'm ever on death row, this is the meal I would choose. Like, what would you choose? And it was like, no one had ever had this thought experiment before. In fact, my boyfriend turned to me and he was like, that's the most American sentence I've ever heard. And I totally didn't get why. I had no concept that the death penalty just did not exist anymore in other places.
There are other countries with the death penalty. There may not be many of them, but we've also got a different fucking type of motherfucker here in this country, man. You think a motherfucker to go out there, rape kids, rape and kill women like nothing, throw them in a ditch? You think, they should fucking just live out the rest of their life, fucking we paying their meals and their fucking heat and air conditioning, fucking their TV and all that shit while they're in prison? Fuck that. Some motherfuckers deserved to fucking be put on death row. Some of these sick, disgusting motherfuckers, Ted Bundys and all them motherfuckers, put them on death row, end it. Be done with it. Like, I'm not saying, man, we just kill fucking anybody for any fucking reason. But there's definitely a threshold from me, at least, where I'm like, bro, that's it. End it. We'll just all be done with it. The world will be a better place without them. Like, France ain't had that type. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's a whole nother fucking mentality. You're talking about a monoculture, fucking Paris, France. You talk about a bougie motherfuckers. They probably fucking don't know. They probably ain't heard of fucking 20 goddamn murderers in their lives. USA got fucking murderers every fucking day. Motherfuckers killing somebody every fucking hour in this goddamn country. Doing terrible, god-awful shit. Sometimes that's just the best fucking answer. I ain't gonna say it's the only answer for everything. But there's definitely a threshold in which people can fucking reach where, okay, anything after this, lights out. End it. Don't give them 50 fucking years of appeals and all these other things. Give them 1 or 2, make sure we got the right motherfucker, and end it. Be done with it.
Yeah, except haven't you seen The Green Mile? Come on, people, Oscar nominated. Probably a lot of winners as well. Anyway, yeah, The Last Meal on Death Row is very morbidly specific to the United States. Yeah. Very specific.
What is that face? Like, who are you fucking mocking there? Like, holy shit, don't do that face again.
Specific. But the idea of a last meal on Earth, that I think everyone has thought about.
Yeah, I do feel like I get they're not having to think about incarceration the way that we do and capital punishment and all that, but like, free your mind creatively. Like, you've never thought about the last whatever you would do. There are other ways to die than lethal injection.
It was the most I've ever heard John make sense in one video. It's the most I've ever heard. I'm telling you, I've seen a couple. I ain't seen all of them, but I've definitely seen some John Ida roller videos. I agree. Open your fucking mind a little bit. There's 1,000 things that could happen any day. Just what would you want your last meal to be? Good response, John.
Start to plan ahead. You never know.
No, No, but it is true though. It's like an incredible, like, you do get a last meal. Like that's something that, people who are about to be put to death by the state, which again, what are we, one of 3 countries that still does this? Like Iran.
So is the argument just give them life? Somebody kills women, children, blatantly, brutally murdering children and women, leaving their bodies in ditches, digging holes under their house, got 20, 30 of them under there. Is the argument just put them in prison for the rest of their lives and we just pay to keep them alive, and then in the age and all the health things that come with anybody as they grow old, we just pay for all that stuff too? Some motherfuckers deserve it. Some motherfuckers deserve worse.
Some like Saudi Arabia, I think, and maybe that's about it. Maybe one of like 6 or maybe, I forgot.
Okay, so it was one of 3. Then it's Saudi Arabia. You couldn't think of a second one, so maybe now it's 1 in 6. Your fucking math is crazy.
It's actually kind of amazing that they still do that. I know that in Texas they tried to like severely limit that last year, but like considering how easy it is for Republican politicians to say, prisoners are cockroaches, they don't deserve any of your empathy.
Some of them are fucking cockroaches, John. Some people are beyond reproach. Some people are beyond saving. Some people do things that most people couldn't even imagine. And it's even crazy because I bet half of you motherfuckers be watching all these true crime stories and all that shit. All these fucking mass murdering motherfuckers just doing all these terrible, god-awful shit. Some motherfuckers are comparable to cockroaches. Like I've known a couple. Unfortunately, I've done a little bit of time in prison. I've met motherfuckers that are terrible people, done terrible things to children. Terrible fucking things to children. So fucking what? I guess is what you're saying. Let's just take care of them the rest of their lives in prison. Like, come on, man. Like, there's gotta be some sort of fucking threshold for you guys to be like, okay, you've officially crossed the line into cockroach territory.
It's weird that they still give them any kind of special meal.
I mean, let's not even get started like on the entire, like, remember, the idea that like, this is my favorite, that like, that fetuses or that zygotes can feel pain, right? Before like death,
People think one way about abortion, but think this way about something else. And you think that's comparable? Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure most of you motherfuckers just hear that shit and like, yeah, man, if you think aborting babies is not right, but yet you want to kill somebody that raped women and children, like, fucking hypocrite. Like, you're fucking stupid. Like, I don't give a fuck what you want to do. I am fucking pro-choice. You want to do it? Do it. You the one got to live with it, not me. But just know, you killing a baby. You're killing a baby. I don't give a fuck if it's a week, 6 weeks, 6 fucking months. Like you say, that's your fucking choice. You're the one that's got to live with it. But I'll be damned if, because I don't see it the way you see it, that we should let child rapists and murderers fucking not just be put down and be ended already. Come on.
And it's just like, what about the actual people you're putting to death in the most horrific ways, who definitely, absolutely can feel the pain of a lethal injection? No.
You think them motherfuckers that they killed didn't feel the fucking pain? Like, some of these people have done treacherous things to other human beings. Like, I don't give a fuck if they feel pain in the end for fucking 30 goddamn seconds. End it.
No, they don't care. My thoughts on this, John, are that when I was living in Argentina, because I have to mention I was living in Argentina.
Argentina. When I was living in Argentina, it's just everybody gets to just move around the world, right? That's what y'all do, right? That's what every one of y'all get to do. Just if you want to move, just pack up and move. Just pack up and move across the world, right? Who can't do that?
I thought it was fascinating that when we would protest, I'd go to like different street marches, there were no cops. Now it was because of the president who was in power at the time, who was more left leaning, but because there had been so much police brutality against protesters in years prior, they had a no police at protesters rule. They were around, but they were not swarming us, coordinating us. Like we would stop traffic, like protests and strikes regularly stop traffic in Buenos Aires, and they would be allowed to do that because there was like this, we're not gonna crack skulls policy.
So what's just people fucking want to protest? Everybody just got to deal with it. Fucking deal with it. People ain't happy about something. So what if you got to get to work? So what if you got responsibilities and things that you want to do and places that you want to go? Oh, well, join the protest, why don't you? Take the day off.
And that was like fascinating. I've never felt more free being part of a protest than when I was there in Argentina. To say nothing of like so many things like last minute plans, your life not being based around your work. In other countries, people are so much chiller. Like It's not, you never open a conversation with, hey, what do you do? It's like, what do you do? What do you mean? I breathe air, I eat food, get off my sack.
Your entire fucking life has just been bougie as shit. Sorry, but that's not the fucking real world. And you talk about these monocultures as if they're comparable to fucking America. One of the biggest, baddest motherfucking countries in the history of the fucking world. Giving you a fucking way of life that almost nowhere has fucking given most anybody. You think the average motherfucker in Venezuela is living half as good as people are in America? The worst of the worst in America probably living better than more than half of Venezuela. Oh, nobody asked, what do you do? I fucking breathe air. What do you mean, what do I do?
Yeah, I've never had a problem with that. I think a person's like chosen career is a big part of their life. I don't think it has to be unhealthy, but yeah, it's been forever since I spent significant time abroad, so it's hard for me to even remember. But yeah, the food culture, very different. Obviously, work-life balance, very different. There's a lot of bad stuff about like TikTok and everything, but I like this trend.
You like motherfuckers crying about fucking bullshit? You like that motherfucker crying about goddamn fireworks? That's fucking weird, bro. I don't know, that's fucking weird.
Oh, I love. I mean, my latest thing is like moms and dads who are raising kids abroad, and they're comparing how like baby friendly and kid friendly other countries are compared to this country, and I'm like, thank you.
You could, like, I wouldn't even know what countries are you even talking about, but I can almost guarantee that you're talking about a country with a monoculture. If you want to talk about all these places where motherfuckers that got all these benefits and all this time off and all these things that are free, I guarantee it's damn near a monoculture. And it's been like that for a millennial. It ain't been America and the fucking shit we've had for the last 300 years coming up. They're different in a million fucking ways. That culture and any of the 100 cultures that you would encounter in America are in fucking comparable. Like I know motherfuckers that treat your kids right. I know a lot of people that would. I know a lot of people that'll give you time off and all these things. There are those people here. Like, sorry, not everyone is. Like, why don't you go tell them to be? Why don't you go protest out front their house? Tell them how to live. You've got to figure it out, right?
Yes, there should be beer in the park. Hello.
Yes, there should be beer in the park. That's a weird thing to throw out there. I don't know what that's about. I know some parks in San Francisco, motherfuckers shooting heroin, smoking meth, smoking pills, living in tents. Is that what you mean? Where motherfuckers can they do what they want in San Francisco entirely. Motherfuckers shit right in the goddamn gutter. Oh no, that's too much. You don't want that. You want all the good things and like the little bit of drink a beer every once in a while, I guess. I don't know, because I assume you don't want people shooting heroin in front of the kid on the swing set, right? Yeah? Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry I asked.
But I also think it's really interesting to, like, Americans. Do you think that like Trump voters know we're not the greatest country? Do you think like deep down they know?
In some ways we are, in some ways we ain't. We do a lot of things real good. We do a lot of things not so good. We're a mess. We're a fucking republic democracy. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna do fucked up shit. They're gonna start programs and taxes and all these other things that'll never go away. All that COVID shit, all fucking damn near almost all that COVID shit is still a fucking thing. See, motherfuckers still wearing goddamn masks. The government fucks shit up sometimes. Your average fucking American is most likely a chill motherfucker.
Or they've been trained to like the trash and the violence and the awfulness and the sickness and the expensive ambulance rides.
Have you been to San Francisco? And that's all left. That's all Democrat. Ain't no Trump fucking shit running nothing in fucking San Francisco. It's been Democratic fucking stranglehold for decades. You think it ain't trashy and violent and dangerous? Democrats gonna make mistakes, Republicans gonna make mistakes. But this whole fucking spin is if the Democrats got it all figured out, or leftists, or socialists, or communists. Like, come on, man, cut the fucking shit. America is and can be a great fucking place. We can make mistakes, we do fucked up shit sometimes, we recognize it, and we try to rectify it. Like, but I'm not gonna get hung up on shit that happened from a lifetime ago that I didn't live. And you ain't gonna ever use it against me. So, fuck you.
Because it's like they've been told that if they criticize it or, that they are suddenly like they're a traitor.
They're criticizing Biden. They criticize Democrats. That's America. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because, they're not criticizing the things that you're hung up on about? Like, that's what you're doing. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a part of that. I mean, look, obviously they will criticize America when a Democrat is in charge.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Because they do.
So there are things that they can identify that are bad, but it's also, we've probably talked about this. There was an old Al Franken book where, I think it was Al Franken.
Oh, Al Franken, shut the fuck up. Like I want to hear goddamn Al Franken. But at least, you dropped that last part. Kudos on you, John. You batted probably 500 at the end of that game. Shorty over there was at a straight fucking 0.00. Nothing for nothing. She fucking swung and missed every fucking time. Like America's got its problems. All those places everybody else is living in fucking got problems. You want to fucking move to Australia where they were beating motherfuckers up for the last 2 years during COVID? They'd have whipped your fucking ass if you thought you was going to walk out the house in Australia. They'd have fucked you up, took your fucking every fucking thing, and locked your dumb ass self up for walking down the fucking street. That's what they'd have done in Australia the last 2 fucking years. You fucking, in fucking UK, bro, you got the police coming to your door, knocking on your fucking door about Facebook posts. You got the police coming, locking motherfuckers up, charging motherfuckers for misusing pronouns. Like, if that's the way you want to live, fucking move on over there, shorty. But I'll be goddamn, if you think, you gonna motherfucker talk to us, bring this fucking clown up, fucking crying about hearing fireworks. Take your pills, bro. Take your fucking pills. Now.